Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to Friday, December 23rd session. And I wanted to do a little bit of a pre-market analysis on both GBPUSD and your dollar. And actually wanted to zoom out a little bit because we got a nice run of sales liquidity here. And as you can see, these are the lines that I have since a couple of days ago where I had those couple of lows being respected. Price went through them here, barely though, but went through them. And after that, it was bullish. Price just began bullishly. You can sell some liquidity, aggressively pushing higher, and we even have a nice reaction to that here. That is through London, maybe an entry as well. Aggressive move higher after taking sales liquidity, and the problem is the market shift. I'm not going to count this as a market shift because it's just too high. It doesn't make sense. This is a swing high, but can I use it as a market shift? And that's what I've been trying to discuss with myself for the past couple of minutes. And to be fair, this parabolic gap, which is the only that we can see on the 15-minute, it's pretty high up, right? So it's not even inside of the area where we look for parabolic gaps. So that kind of throws me off as well. And also, we already have the opportunity to maybe try and sell. So, and the parabolic gap was filled, so we still got some time. What I wanted to analyze was this, right? It reacts to the 15-minute parabolic gap, takes liquidity, aggressive move higher, market shift above this high, parabolic gap, stop loss all the way down there, respected, and basically we have a bullish entry if we were following this 15-minute thing. Now if we look at the 5, we have the run of liquidity, the aggressive move higher, the market shift, but there's no parabolic gap at any point, so actually we cannot even try to trade that. So that's why I was looking into the 15-minute, which again, 15-minute gives us that one, which is outside of the area where I look for parabolic gaps, right? So at this point, it's actually not something that I can take advantage of. At this point, actually, we have the nice run of liquidity, the market shift all the way down here, and a 15-minute parabolic gap. I'm gonna delete that. We have the run on liquidity on the 15-minute, the market shift on the 15-minute, and the parabolic gap, right? I think it's pretty clear. Right, the run liquidity and the market shift are a little bit weak, but overall we can see a swing high, we can see a swing low being created there, which is the reason why we can actually use it. So yeah, we can be looking for sells in here, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm gonna be careful though because it's a little bit complicated price action, and we have news today at 8:30. So yeah, I've been using this indicator for the sessions, and it was actually quite lovely because, as an example, we have the 50% of Asian session, right, or Asian Killzone. Price came back down to that, took liquidity within the Asian session, mitigated the 50%, and started going aggressively higher, right? Now, also here, as you can see, it actually respects the high as support and fails to do that as again. And now this has come back down into the 50% of the London Killzone. Liquidity but in the middle, well, actually outside of the London Killzone. But that was interesting. And also with this is something that we can also use to see the patterns that repeat themselves, because as an example, this begins bullishly and finishes off bearishly. So did this session. Then this one began a little bit consolidated and then bullish, but ended up bearish. Bullish to then bearish. Not much in that one. Bearish to then bullish. I don't know, things to know, you know. This is how I ended up creating my strategy partially. Also, this one gives you the yesterday's low and yesterday's high, and with it I actually realized that we had taken previous week's low already. No, I thought we had, but that's all the way down there, so definitely not. I just wanted to mention in the midnight when I woke up, I actually traded, and I wanted to do that first. I actually traded London Killzone, just paper traded, and I didn't feel like getting up, honestly. So it was raining outside. It was really lovely to continue to sleep. So Asian session ranged, same thing here. Comes back down to the 50, continues going higher. Trend begins a bit bearish to then bullish to then bearish to then continue bullish, and much really. Am I on? Oh yeah, I thought I was in there a little. It's gonna be complicated. So the buy that I took was on here. Run and sell side liquidity, this equal lows, these lows, this tiny bit of a low here. I think it came back down into this tiny bit of a fair value gap, right? Which also took sell side liquidity. I think that was through Asian session. Asian session begins on that one, this candle. It comes back down like that, takes sell side liquidity, aggressive in fire, 5-minute fair value gap. And here we get a 1-minute entry that was really complicated to take to the stop loss. So, oh, and actually took the buy on a end because, yeah, because, how do I say this? We had the sells from this 15-minute fair value gap, which was really lovely, and I liked it more than the buys. So what I failed to explain in this little section of the video, which is what I'm going to try to explain here, is that paper trading doesn't allow you to buy and sell at the same time. Because as an example, if you want to buy, if you're selling, I suppose you're selling, right, 100,000 units from there, and then you want to buy 100,000 units from here, you're not going to have 100,000 buying and 100,000 selling. The 100,000 that you sold from up here will be closed with the 100,000 buy. So you cannot be inside of a sell, sorry, and a buy at the same time. So if you place a 200,000 sell and you place 100,000 buy, what will happen is that you will be left behind with 100,000 sell. Right, so you can go on your charts and test this, but that's what basically happened. So as an example, what I should have done but didn't realize in the moment, and also would have not really had the mind to actually go through it, is the fact that I had the opportunity to sell in which fair value gap? Oh, on this one. I had the opportunity to sell on this fair value gap, while I had the opportunity to buy on the fair value gap that we have right here, which is the one that it's shown right there. So basically we have the opportunity to buy as we have the opportunity to sell. I wanted to take advantage of both opportunities, but in this case you cannot do that. And if I was in a challenge, not a challenge necessarily, in a MetaTrader, what I can do is place the buy and then place the sell. Both of them would have been triggered. I would have been taken out in the loss on the sell, sorry, and the buy would have worked out just fine, covering the loss. That's why I say personally I would have gone out with a 2% gain in this one, and I would have gone actually, sorry, for 2.8 because I wanted to go above this size, right? It's not my bare minimum of 3R, but I would have not really wanted to force that 3R, although it's really close, right? And due to the impulse, we could have expected the price to get all the way up there, but it's better to just not force those moves because price could have just gotten a tiny bit above the high and then continue going lower, missing us on the take profit. But as you can see, how far is it respected? Well, actually would have been respected so far, and it would have peaked at around 7.7R. Of course, nothing that we could have actually taken or anything like that, but if I wanted to go for 5R, I could have gotten it. If I wanted to go for 4R, I would have gotten it. 3R, the same thing, right? But me personally, I would have gone for 2.8R minus the 1R, and the loss would have given me a 1.8R, which is something that we theoretically could add to the result of the day. But as I didn't take it on well, what would be my challenge, I don't really find it that necessary nor fair to actually count it. So this is the buy, right? So you can see I'm triggered that in. Then I see that we have the opportunity to sell on that fair value gap, so I sell as well. And then basically I'm taking out for a loss on this one, right? With 1,466,000. On this one, what happened is that when I realized that I could do that I could buy on GB dollar and then instead of FXCM, which is the broker that I use, I ended up buying all the way up there with 10 million instead of 1 million, which is what I wanted to actually risk, and barely went for a 1 to a 1 point something, right above this high. But overall, it's just to show that the trade works out, the 5 steps work out, even though again we would have taken a loss that is somewhat unnecessary as the direction was somewhat clear due to the indications that we had, the low resistance liquidity run and everything. So there were reasons for us to believe price could continue to go higher instead of lower and could have avoided that loss. So I'll just leave you on with the video. Market shift is weak, really. It's a swing high, but I don't think it's a swing. It is a swing low, yeah, because we have a higher candle, and the lower candle. It's not the ideal, because it's one candle basically going lower that we get lucky and we actually get to swing high. Swing low, sorry. Well, it's there, so we have the 5 steps at this point. We'll see if that parabolic gap is respected until then. Hopefully it's not, really. I'm kind of hoping that it's not actually respected, but if it is, we have to take advantage of it. The reason why I don't want it is because it barely tapped the area. The market shift is a little bit weak, and overall the entire structure in my opinion is a little bit weak. But again, if we have the 5 steps, there's no reason for us to for us to avoid this. So parabolic gap created and executed. Okay, let's execute a little bit lower for some reason. 163. Right there. Stop loss was 91. Yeah. Stop loss is fine. And I think due to the entry, we cannot get 3R below that low. We can get it before this low, which is cool. So we need 3. There it is. That should be my target. 106. 076. I almost placed another entry, didn't I? Yeah, okay. Why am I not allowed to? There you go. 076. Okay. Risking a 1%. Why am I risking 1.1%? The entry was mis-executed, so I'm gonna lower my stop loss a bit to get just to 1%. It's fine. Now let's move it. Okay, when the position size calculator does that. So I'm risking 2. Yeah, it's not 2, sorry, 1%. Just leave the stop loss where it was. If I take a little bit of a bigger loss than supposed, it's fine. Below this low, I'm going to be interested in closing. Keep in mind that I'm 2%, no, not 2%, 1% up for the week, 1 point something. So closing that gives me at 3% for the entire week. And I'm not going to be sad about that. Actually quite happy with the past few weeks that I've had. Getting close to the 2R, and I'm closing. I want my stop loss at break even at half or something like that. No, for now, no. I think that when this low is broken, yes, because we up 2%. There you go. Okay, 2% taken, 3% overall for the week. Well, that sucks. It's done on a 0.25 to be honest. I closed at 1.75%, but it truly sucks. That's fine. Closed at 2%. Didn't get the 2%, but closed at 2%. That was my intention. Let me just send this to the Discord, and that was actually a pretty quick session. We got lucky. It's likely, in my opinion, to continue down. I mean, if the trend is correct, being this the major market shift in the 15-minute and the parabolic gaps that we probably have in the 15-minute price to get all the way down to that low is possible. I wouldn't aim for that. I'd go for maybe some kind of for the block that we could have in the middle, a minute, something like that. Actually, we don't have anything in the 15-minute. Euro-dollar has this done a bit of a beautiful candle right there, so that's something that we could aim, and that's actually 4.3, so closing at 4R will be more than enough. We'll see if that's reached. That would have been the as far as I would have gone personally. But again, if I get the 3R, really, it's insanely good at that point. Insanely good. We'll look at this trade a little bit more, and we'll see what it does. Also, GBP dollar mitigated that entry that I was basing on the order block, 15-minute order block that it respects, takes sales liquidity in a lower time frame, and potential buying opportunities, but nothing that I'm interested in taking. My week has finished already. We'll see if the interest respected, if it would have got into the 3R that I was looking for. And what's my target? 3.11. Ideal target. At this point, my stop loss will be at break even though, because the lowest being respected, sales liquidity was taken. I wouldn't be interested in seeing price retracing back up to my entry, or maybe just placing it above this high, right? So with the spreads and everything, taking a third of a loss or something like that, just in the case it came back to the order block to fill in inefficiency, something like that, you know. Or maybe even this, right? This is actually a breaker as far as I understand, an order block that went to take price out liquidity and then its low is broken. So this could be what price has come back to, just to mitigate a bit of a breaker and continue going lower. Actually, it will be quite nice to see. I don't understand much about order blocks and breakers, so I'm not sure about it. Oh, look at that reaction. This is where I closed my 100% positions. And this is as far as I go, as I said, but I would not go for that. Mostly due to how the week has been, right? Missed out on a win really early in the week, which would have given me 3R plus 3R yesterday, plus this 2R today would have been 8R minus 2 losses, 6R out of the week. So even though I didn't take that trade, I'm counting it as if I took it, because as I missed out on it, it psychologically hits psychologically a little bit. So I prefer not to risk more, not to go for too many trades or anything like that. I want to be careful with what I take, but as long as I have the confidence to go for them, I'm just gonna go for them. I don't need this anymore. I'm not live, but I am commentating this entire thing, and I think it's making a fun video. Just giving my thoughts, you know. But after this, I'm not gonna trade, and actually we have news at 8:30, which might end up just causing the market to be untradeable later on. At this point, my stop loss will be 100% a break even. Your dollar buy, as you were able to see, would have failed. Of course, this is nothing based on our entry. Yeah, so we have a 50-minute fair value gap there, but there's no market shift for us to actually use. Market shift would have been here, clearly. On the 5-minute market shift, but we don't have a fair value gap to mitigate, so it's not an entry. And actually remember that we still have somewhat of an opportunity to buy, theoretically. As long as price doesn't reach in and around these levels, I'd still be interested in buying. If I was interested in buying, of course. Having quite a reaction. Reach into the fair value gap to continue dropping. Let's actually take a small scalp on that. Very bad scalp, as we're getting barely a 1 to a 1 point something. But just to try something, you know, nothing out of the ordinary. This intro could have been a little bit better if the intro would have actually been executed above the order block, as I wanted it to, because we would have gotten the 3R already. Yeah, definitely. Would have gotten the 3R right at the break of the low, which would have been much more interesting, and we could actually be getting around 5R instead of 4 at this low. Taking its time, still the direction hasn't changed at all at any point, which is good to see. Price could retrace to seek some liquidity, just trace something a bit higher to then continue going lower, and it's just going as expected, basically. Gonna mute myself now for a couple of minutes. I'll allow it to just run. I'm gonna split this up for you all, and we'll see what we get. JB dollar is nothing of interest at the time. Oh, trade has fallen a little bit quicker when I left. Now that I came back, it's hesitating again, but it is likely to get there. I would have closed the 3 Rs, you know, so I would have been a lovely target to have. 3% plus the 1% would have been a 4% for the week. Pretty happy with the 3% that I got. And yeah, lovely trade, really. Happened quite quickly. The entry I didn't like completely due to the... Jesus. Due to the entry, the market shift, I mean, again, it's a swing low, so it meets the criteria. It's just not something that we could trust 100%, right? It hits the criteria, reason why I personally took it. Mitigated the 5-minute fair value gap, that as you can see, trades inside of it. Doesn't just have the low as this, right? And the entry was just fine. Could have been a little bit higher, which could have given us a better timing to close and everything, but at the end of the day, it's a profit. We can be happy with that. And yeah, I mean, this ended up being quite a quick session. Thankfully, well, now I do have to edit quite a bit. But yeah, we'll see what we have later. I think I'm not going to edit it right away because maybe we do get some stuff to do later on. But at the time for me, it is more than enough to not trade for the rest of the session. And yeah, again, just a lovely trade. 5 steps as usual. And that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be talking to you on the next one.